There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the stare down and a few words exchanged.
I haven't seen.
You gonna see Saturday,
bro.
Saturday
even
night.
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you throwing?
Hey, you know what?
Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents.
Gervonta Davis shocked the crowd when he slapped Lamont Roach during a fiery face-off. Things got intense fast as Davis warned he plans to break Roach in their upcoming fight. Neither fighter backed off, making the moment even more charged. This clash has taken their rivalry to another level and built serious hype for what's shaping up to be one of the most heated and personal fights of the year. Gervonta Davis is now training with a new level of focus and discipline under the guidance of his longtime coach Calvin Ford. He's working quietly and seriously to sharpen every part of his game, but this camp is different from the last time. In their first fight, people from Washington, D.C. had a big presence around the team. Now the setup is smaller, more focused, and tightly controlled, with no outside noise and no chance of any game plan being leaked. There were rumors before that Roach may have gotten inside info, but that won't happen this time. The team has removed all distractions and put everything into perfecting the plan, with Ford leading and Davis fully locked in. This rematch feels bigger and more important than their first showdown.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy, because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no, sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I could see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has already been a major commercial hit, with 150,000 pay-per-view sales coming in well before fight night. This strong demand shows just how big their rivalry has become and how badly fans want to see how it all plays out. People still remember how intense and unpredictable their first fight was, and now they're waiting to see if Davis takes back control or if Roach rises. Again, the numbers say it all. This isn't just another fight, it's a major event, and it proves that both fighters have become key names in the boxing world.
Tank out here selling under 150,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, Face of Boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else, especially in Saudi. I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for what, 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, that Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors, that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments. No, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. They didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top... Well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Well. He's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol better be up just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching them, and Bivol and Better BF do. Tank does not.
Instead of tossing out their original strategy, Davis's team has taken a sharper approach, making key adjustments. Instead of starting from scratch after studying the first fight, they noticed issues with timing and a drop in confidence during the middle rounds. Now they've fine-tuned things like attack angles and distance to close the openings Roach used before. The goal isn't to turn Davis into someone new, but to sharpen the fighter he already is. They've replaced hesitation with smart aggression. And that change makes Davis even more dangerous, keeping his core style but making it cleaner and more effective.
He got a good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead. Let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a fighter that listen, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him. You know, all fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter is not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of it. It's other shit too, you know. I believe in hurting them. You can hurt. You gotta hurt them to get it started, you know.
PD, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
What many thought was a knockdown in the first fight might not actually show Davis's weakness. New reports suggest he slipped because something like a grooming product got in his eyes and affected his vision during the match. If that's true, it changes everything. It means the moment wasn't about poor stamina or technique, but just an avoidable distraction for Davis's supporters. This backs up their belief that he's still strong and skilled. It also pushes his team to tighten every detail in training, to make sure nothing small gets in the way when the pressure is on.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much. You was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont. This from the same camp. We from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up. Because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that...
Former world champion Mikey Garcia shared his thoughts on Davis's chances in the rematch, saying his natural talent and ability to adjust are clear strengths, but Garcia warned that skill isn't enough this time. He said the real challenge will be mental. Davis has to block out distractions from the media, personal life, and pressure if he wants to win. Garcia believes Davis has everything it takes, but only if his mindset matches his physical prep. This fight won't just be about boxing skill, it will test how strong Davis is mentally from start to finish.
I'll let you go because I know you got a lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch. It looks like it's gonna happen, hopefully. I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever. He gets a rematch, and maybe they get a third fight, after that. Who knows? Maybe
it turns the market back out.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
After the first fight with Roach, social media was full of talk that Davis might be stepping away from boxing, but instead of staying quiet, he got right back to training. He didn't let the rumors grow. He shut them down by taking action and locking in the rematch fast. This move showed a lot about who he is. He's not avoiding what happened. He's facing it head on and taking control. Now the story isn't about him backing away. It's about him fighting to take back his place with focus and drive.
I just want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit, both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's gonna do a rematch, you need to be down, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not gonna lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. At least I'm giving them they props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight. And I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. I'm not gonna lie, so I just feel like the rematch should have happened, because never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch, because I don't think this is ever gonna be a dispute that is settled and, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we gotta see it.
Boxing expert and commentator Teddy Atlas recently gave a deeper take on what makes Davis special. While many fans focus on his knockout power, Atlas highlighted the smarter side of his game, like his control of distance, timing, and ability to stay calm under pressure. Atlas said what really sets Davis apart is how he thinks in the ring. He doesn't panic or rush. Instead, he stays focused and makes smart moves when things heat up. His cool mindset helps him strike with perfect timing and control, making him a serious threat when it counts most.
He's going to try to get to us, but we're going to frustrate him. He doesn't get frustrated. He takes his time. He's deliberate. A lot of times at the beginning, people thought he was just a sink and destroy missile. They thought he was just a guy that got to you. And they thought that he would get over anxious. He don't get over anxious. He takes his time. He slowly closes those gaps, inch by inch, step by step. And then he gets to you.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith shared his thoughts on the matchup, pointing to a clear difference in physical presence between the two fighters. While he praised Roach for his sharp technique and smart fighting style, Smith believes Davis's strength, reach, and body control could be too much for Roach to handle, especially if the fight turns rough and close. Smith made it clear that skill is important, but sometimes power, pressure, and physical dominance decide who comes out on top.
And lastly, Stephen A., last name I, of course, want to throw your way is Gervonta Davis. I know you believe in his skills.
Yes, I do. I do.
What do you think of his fight with Roach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think Roach is too small. I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that. But it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much, and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, "Ooh, making this up. He hurt me in sparring," and and I knew Gervonta was gonna come for him, and sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round 1 on. But I remember what he said, and it really, really struck me. Gervonta's a smart dude, bro, and he said you really, really should have waited. You don't have enough experience. You really, really should have waited and took your time before you came to me. And that's what Gervonta Davis told him. And he was right.
In his current training camp, Gervonta Davis is pushing himself with extra fire. The rematch isn't just about payback, it's his chance to prove he still belongs at the top. He's using every doubt and criticism as motivation, focusing hard on building power, speed, and endurance. Every workout and sparring round is intense and focused. His goal isn't just to win, it's to make a statement that the first fight was a rare slip, not a sign of weakness. Davis is training like a man on a mission, and that makes him more dangerous than ever.
Like, gotta step back from the situation. That's why I think he being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning, like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this before.
To take his training to the next level, Gervonta Davis has brought in Kenny Ellis, a coach known for his strict approach and sharp fight strategy. Ellis keeps the pressure on with focused drills and instant corrections, making sure no mistakes go unnoticed. Under his guidance, Davis is tightening up every detail from footwork and defense to counters and timing. This camp isn't just about getting in shape, it's about building a smarter, sharper fighter. With Ellis in his corner on fight night, Davis gains more than support, he gains precise direction exactly when it matters most.
The best trainers in boxing, second guy in the corner, is responsible for a lot of the real tactical decisions and tactical analysis that goes on in Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents. So to have him talk about what's going on with Lamont Roach, I thought was interesting and insightful, because what he said was that, one, he's not falling for the okie doke. When Mill City asked him, hey, what do you think about the fact that, you know, that Lamont Roach was seen at a basketball game chugging a beer? And I would have added to the question that you see Lamont Roach out giving a bunch of interviews, doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table. And he says that Lamont Roach is, we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. You know, he says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing.
That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates.